Hey and welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the P38 Lightning, a ground striker, and I am finally continuing a series I started months ago, about 5 months ago, called the Up the Tier series.
It honestly feels weird being back in front of a microphone for the first time in a year and a half. But yeah, I've returned to make another Up the Tier series video. This time it's the P47B. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you're new around here, my name is DreamWillGK or Sam, whatever you prefer to call me. If you do enjoy my content, please smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And leave a like on the video if you enjoy and comment your thoughts, as I'd love to know what you think about this plane and the game in general. So yeah, I'll leave a link to the Discord in the description, and I'll also leave another link to the Fanatec Games Discord in the description as well. Hope you enjoy the video. P47, Up the Tier series. Let's go.
Wow, man down. You ain't really bad.
So, the P47B is a ground attack aircraft, and it's got a pretty good loadout. I'll show the loadouts on screen now. Both the premium and non-premium version of the P47B set you back 5,000 gold. The upgrades are quite expensive, setting you back 23,000 XP. So overall the price of this plane is 5,000 gold and 23,000 XP, which isn't too expensive, but I do think it's a bit too expensive for the plane, as the plane does not perform as good as something else that might cost 5,000 gold. I think it should sit around 3,000, maybe 4,000 gold maximum. I don't think it's worth that 5,000 gold though. So I especially don't buy the premium version. If you have 5,000 gold, spend it on something else. I do not advise that. There's 3 planes I recommend you buy in the US tech tree for 5,000 gold or below. The first one is the A20G Havoc, the second one is the F4U Corsair Mark II, and the third one is the SB2C Helldiver. All of them go for 5,000 gold or below, and they're a pretty good aircraft. I might be making reviews on them in the future. Let's get into the next part of the video, as that's the whole information part of the aircraft covered. So yeah, next up is the pros.
My life changed, I ain't gotta do the things that I used to. Jump in the whip and connect to the Bluetooth.
The P47B has a really good payload, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. This makes it a great ground pounder. It's got 4 50 caliber guns, which can take out AA at air bases or just get you ground kills on ships. And those 4 50 cals are also really good at taking out planes. This thing isn't the best dogfighter, I won't lie, but the ground pounding I think makes up for it. You know, you've got the 2 500-pound bombs, even though I really think Phil should add 1,000-pound bombs, like in War Thunder, where I think you can have 1 500 and 2 1,000-pound bombs, I think, and then 8 HVAR rockets. I think they're called 10-inch rockets in this game, but I think they are HVAR rockets, but I'm not sure. But this thing does have a really strong offensive load. I do think it is one of the better ground pounders in the game. I do think it is up there with the P38 Lightning from the last Up the Tier video. I think that one might just top it up a teeny bit. I think it might just beat it a little bit. But this thing does have really powerful guns. The 50 cals are really good in this game, and the bombs are also really good in this game. So yeah, you can take out, I think, 2 naval targets, 2 naval destroyers at least. With the bombs and the rockets, you just drop 2 bombs on the destroyer and it'll kill it, and I think 8 or 9 or 10 rockets on the ship and it'll also kill it. Another pro of the P47B and the other P47s it is so damn durable. It can take so many hits. I died in this video, in the gameplay that you see in the video. I died to a Oscar, or I think that's what it's called. I haven't played a Key 43 if I'm right. And I don't know how I died that quickly. But usually this plane is really durable. It can take quite a lot of hits from AA, which is important when you're playing a ground pounder. As if you're playing something like, not so much a P51, because P51 is quite durable, but something like the P38, which is also really durable, is really helpful when you're ground pounding When you're in things like a Helldiver or a Suicide or an SPD, you just get shredded like instantly by AA, because I do think AA is a bit OP, and that is one thing I kind of wish Phil did change, is how I can understand how powerful it is when it hits you, but when the accuracy of it is just, it's like you're playing War Thunder naval battles. You know, when you're playing War Thunder naval battles, I just feel like it should be made in a way that we can avoid it, because sometimes you just really can't avoid the AA. But that is another pro. Sorry, it is a really durable plane, so you will be able to take a lot of hits. But yeah, sadly, this plane doesn't really have that many pros to it. So yeah, we're gonna have to get onto the cons. So sadly, there is quite a lot of cons to this plane, especially in Wings of Duty Gunship sequel. First con I would say is the fact that it's just so big and it's sluggish. It does not turn. Like, considering you're fighting, maybe if you're fighting some German planes, you might be able to compete. But considering you're fighting Japanese planes most of the time, you can't compete with their turn rates. They accelerate faster than I think they accelerate faster than you. Your top speed might be a bit higher, but they definitely accelerate a bit faster than you. I think they do climb better than you as well, especially if it's the K-84s. But that's the thing with this thing. If I was playing New Guinea 44, I'd take this thing out before the Japs arrive and just ground pound, and then once the Japs arrive, I'd hop into a P51D or a P51C, or maybe a Spitfire, because cancer turn, you know. But yeah, that's the first con. I think the second con would be the fact that it does have to face against Japanese planes. Like, I know it's not a con of the plane itself, it's of it who it faces, but you're gonna be facing K-84s like 95% of the time, and they will just beat you 9 times out of 10, 14 times out of 15, 19 times out of 20, you know. Like, there's a very small chance you actually beat them unless you get at least not in a dogfight. If you get a lucky deflection shot, as I said earlier in the video, this thing's guns absolutely shred the thing to pieces. But, you know, I do personally think that this thing just doesn't have a lot of positives to it. It has a lot of cons. Like, also stalls really easily. Its damage model isn't too great. Like, you know, I was saying it's durable. Some things literally just kill it in about 2 seconds. It's a big buggy plane. The one thing about P47B that I will say is a con is the fact that I don't know if it really has that much of an effect in game. I don't know if you checked, but the Razor Canopy, I think that's what it's called. It has the Razor Canopy, it doesn't have the Bubble Canopy, so you can't see really behind you properly, you can't really see on your sticks properly, but in the Bubble Canopy, in the P47D and the P47N, you can see behind you. So that is another con of this vehicle. But yeah, I think that's mostly just the cons and pros. The pros and cons of this vehicle plane, the P47B. I think that is it. It's got great bomb load, great payload. It's pretty durable. But the cons, obviously, are the fact that it's sluggish and doesn't accelerate. It's also not the best dogfighter, so I wouldn't really recommend taking this plane out.
Welcome to Brixton, I'm in the party with Barbies and drillers. The kickback mad on the spinner, I see enough man just run for my niggas.
You know, it's a tough one. My overall opinion on this plane is, I think it almost depends on the map that you want to play it on. You know, in New Guinea 1944, this thing isn't worth bringing out unless you're at the start of the game or you're gonna go carrier hunting, because this thing has a really good bomb load, but it just can't fight things. It's just not good at fighting things unless there's a teammate 1v1ing someone and you need to come third party or come help your teammate, and that's when I'd use it to fight someone. But other than that, I wouldn't go out of your way to look for dogfights in this thing, because you will just simply will not win. But if I was to give you a fighting tip for this thing, I'd say B&Z. You know, because this thing is quite fast. I mean, when it comes to climbing, it's not fast, but if you get up from Port Moresby beforehand, then you might have a chance. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend this thing for dogfighting. On a map like Hamburg or Normandy, I would recommend this plane because it might do well there because it gets the face against BF-110s at Hamburg, and also there's loads of ships at Normandy. I think only in arcade though, because then you could be on either side. But yeah, I do recommend taking it out for these two maps, but other than that, I don't recommend it. So yeah, time for my final recommendation of this plane, whether or not you should fly it or shouldn't fly it. For the price of this aircraft, it is a debate, to be honest. 5,000 gold, 23,000 XP to max out the whole thing. I don't recommend it, I'm afraid. I would not recommend flying it. And I wouldn't fly it personally in any map. I can see why some people would, but I personally wouldn't fly it. Like if I was playing at Normandy for allies, I'd bring a Spitfire. Or for ground pound, I'd probably bring a Mosquito over this thing, I can't lie. And for New Guinea 44, I'd just take the Helldiver over this, or the P38. Or just a P51, because the 2 bombs on the P51 do enough. But yeah, my final review would just be don't play this plane. Especially, do not buy the premium version of this plane. Don't buy the premium Russian version either, as they're both the same plane as this one. I would not recommend it at all. But yeah, that's been the video. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. My name's Sam. Goodbye. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new setup. The editing, well, soon the editing. Maybe worth under ignore that. And music, tunes, yeah, important. And this is where I live now.